Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash entitled people. In today's episode, sister's entitled friend promised to feed and water me if I helped her move, then did neither. Entitled ex claims officer's discount card. Friendship ends over pink hair. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Sister's entitled friend promised to feed and water me if I helped her move, then did neither. Fasten your seatbelts and strap on your drinkin' helmets, folks, cause this is a long one. I was reminded of this from the Helping Someone Move Deserves Pizza and Beer It's Man Law post, so here goes. Many moons ago, when I was young and strong and between jobs, my knees still cooperated regularly, my back wasn't made of celery, and I scoffed at stairs. I was persuaded to help Deanna, a good friend of my oldest sister, move from her parents' place 2 towns away, and into an apartment in our city. I figured, why not, and she'd promised to feed me pizza when we were done, so I was in. The day of the move was beautiful. We got a U-Haul and 2 other vehicles loaded to make a single trip, and got everything to the house. Being the helpy helper son I was, I told the movie that I could take some of the heavier things by myself, but I'd need some help with things like the taller bookshelf, which weighed about 75 lb/33 kg, and was 7 feet/2 m high, boxes, and lamps. She sailed up the stairs to the second-floor apartment burdened with, in total, 2 potted plants in a cardboard box, 1 box of household linens under that, 2 tote bags of craft supplies slung over her shoulders, and 1 cat carrier, sans cat, because it was staying with her folks till she was all moved in. And those were the only things she carried into her own house. Instead of coming back down and helping with more things, her father, in his late 40s, and I were wrangling the aforementioned bookshelf down the Raleigh ramp. We figured out rather quickly that we'd have to slide it up the stairs. He had Deanna unroll one of the moving blankets that came with the U-Haul down the middle of the stairs, so we could just glide the shelf up. We got it in and set up without incident, then went back for more. She, however, did not go back for more, dear reader. This state of affairs went on until all the vehicles were empty of her property and people. There were 3 other people helping besides me. Deanna and her dad were tired and thirsty and hungry. So I said, "Hey Deanna, you said you'd feed me if I helped with this. Were you gonna order some pizza or something?" Cue shocked Pikachu face. "Feed you? What are you talking about? I never said I'd feed you." "Yes, you did. That was the only condition I was willing to do this under. Are you really going to stand there and lie to me in front of your dad, who witnessed the whole conversation with my sister?" Well, she started in whining about how she just moved and didn't have much money and can't afford to feed all these people herself, while her father said nothing at all and simply stood there silently, and I just suddenly did not care anymore. I interrupted her pity party and said, "You know what? Fine. Can I use your phone?" She just nodded, so I stomped inside and called my dad and told him everything from start to finish. He arrived about 15 minutes later, and he was pissed. While I stood in the shade of the U-Haul, fanning myself with a piece of leftover cardboard, he pulled Deanna and her dad aside and chewed them both out for treating me like free labor and taking advantage of a kid who just wanted to help because you're her sister's friend, and a few other things I couldn't quite make out, because he was doing that quietly terrifying dad voice thing, that you never wanted to be directed at you. Once he was done with them, Deanna was white as a sheet and looked like she was going to throw up. Her dad looked angry, but not at my dad, at her. My dad came over to me, put his hand on the back of my neck, and said, "Come on, board, we're leaving, and I'm definitely telling your sister about this." So, Daddy drove my exhausted, sweaty, bark-knuckled self home, where I promptly climbed into the shower, while he explained things to my mom, who was equally furious on my behalf, and made me 2 nice thick ham and cheese sandwiches, with an ice-cold Diet Coke, while I was in the shower. I loved them so much, and missed them every day, my parents, not the sandwiches, in case there was any confusion there, lol. It was still fairly early, so Dad waited till I'd finished eating, had drunk some water and taken some Tylenol cause I was a Hutton puppy by that time, and then, he called my sister. The conversation that ensued wasn't pleasant by any means. My poor sister was absolutely mortified at how I'd been treated, and went to see Deanna the next day to give her the additional chewing out she so richly deserved. Needless to say, she and Deanna are no longer friends. Note, this all happened almost 40 years ago, and the two of them have not, to my knowledge, even spoken since. Entitled X claims officer's discount card. This entitled woman walked into my restaurant in 1986. Being the manager of a national pizza chain with a famous red roof afforded me my opportunity to take her down one small peg. This national chain gifted local police with a 50% discount card in an effort to keep a police presence in the restaurant, and police make good word-of-mouth advertisements. After taking over management of this store in 1985, I went out of my way to befriend every policing agency in the area. One lonely mid-afternoon, my area manager, AM, was passing by to see about 9 police cars from the local, county, and 2 state agencies park catawampus in my lot because I know not to tell police how to park. Fearing something was wrong, he rushed to the counter wanting to know the problem. Why all the police cars? Nothing, they're eating lunch together. About a year later, one police officer came in with his 2 elementary children for dinner in the evening. I saw his bill and wondered why he didn't use the police discount and asked. He refused to talk about it in front of the children, but came in the next day while on duty. He explained his wife claimed the discount card in the divorce, and he doesn't have it anymore. Do you want it back? I asked. Not really, it will cause more trouble than it is worth. Here is the problem, stated with authority. The card only goes to the officer. However, I will let family members use it. Since she is no longer family, I can get into trouble for letting her use it. So, whether you want it back or not, I still have to confiscate it the next time she comes in. I don't know if his ex was entitled all the time, but the next time she came to use the card, she definitely showed how she thought the world revolved around her. Cast me equals me and EE equals entitled X. Me, ma'am, I will let you use the card this time, but I have to confiscate it because you are no longer married to the officer. No, I won the card in the divorce. It is mine. Me, as you see here at the bottom of the card, it reads, property of pizza chain. I don't care what it says, give it back. As her face appears if I passed gas. Me, no, I cannot do that. Thank you for your business. Called the police on me. Another officer showed up and I explained the policy of using the cards. Then I showed him the pizza chain retains ownership of the card, and the local manager dictates who uses the card. He told her there was nothing he could do for her. She screamed police brotherhood and stormed out without the discount card. Called my new AM, and she phoned me the next day. I read the policy to her regarding the cards and explained the purpose for them as she was not familiar with them. She wanted me to tell the other managers about the cards at our next management meeting. She agreed she didn't like taking the card from a single mother, but it was policy. I offered the card to the officer, but he mentioned he was taking up a new position in his hometown because he wanted to get out of our small town. I didn't see him again after that last meeting. I saw around town a few times, but she didn't recognize me outside of pizza chain. Friendship ends over pink hair. I, 47F, was trained formally as a hairstylist, and though I'm not working in a salon, I still enjoy doing hair to this day. I'm on disability for a slew of health problems, so I frequently offer deals to low-income friends, so they can get great hair that fits their budget because I can, and I maintain my skill set. I'm also very generous with my possessions, and have lost a fair bit due to entitled people taking my kindness for granted. This is one of those times. Several years ago, this one friend, 26F, had several children, who all behaved really well for me. She was a long walk from me, and I never complained about the walk. I had been a bottle redhead in deeper tones for some time, but was looking for a vivid shade. She would pay me what she could, and I would take laundry occasionally to her place. I was selling my elliptical machine that was worth $1,400 for $350, and she asked to buy it. I agreed. She paid me $50 and never paid the rest. Excuse after excuse though. She finds this awesome vivid color in a red shade. I loved it on her, and we put some in my hair too. It looked amazing on me. I went to the beauty supply and got myself the same brand, but chose a vivid hot pink. It looked even more amazing on me than the red shade. The haircut I had given her was a takeoff, and a very tame introductory version of one style I had in hairstyling school 2 decades earlier, so dyed my hair vivid pink and gave myself the full cut she wasn't confident enough to wear, but since I had it 20 years prior so knew it looked good on me. Wore that style for at least 5 years after. Looked great on me. Not for timid people with low confidence. We had very different hair colors and hairstyles. To me, red and pink are not remotely the same color, but this woman went flying off the deep end and demanded an answer as to why I dyed my hair her hair color. She was actually livid with me because she wanted to be the only one in her friend group with this shade of hair. I was sick at the time and dealing with extreme stresses, but she insisted on getting her answer. She demanded I apologize, dye my hair something else, and she wanted it done now. I warned her she wouldn't like my answer, or me anymore, if she forced the issue, and she pushed and pushed, until I said, fine. My exact words to her were, I've been a bottle redhead since you met me, and you don't own the patent on red hair. F***KU. I was correct. She didn't like that reply, or my attitude. She genuinely expected me to give in to her unreasonable demands, and was so terribly offended that I refused. She was threatening our friendship. Didn't I care? No, I didn't. I had real problems and didn't need her inventing any. Apparently that made me every nasty name in the book, though I didn't hear it, because I blocked her immediately. I lost the rest of the $300 she didn't want to pay on the machine, which was probably why she made the issue. She could have just given the elliptical back if she couldn't afford it and didn't use it. I heard she sold it to someone because she never used it.